Fun fact, I failed a run today, and I'm not mad about it. Old Kay would have been super angry, frustrated, upset, and I probably would have quit. But today, my mindset was so different that I literally finished the run, came home and showered and said, I need to make a YouTube video about this. So let's talk about it. I'm Kay, mom to two, wife, photographer, and accountability coach. I created this YouTube channel as a soft space for us to come and gather and maybe get some ideas on how to create rhythms over structured routines, how to be kinder to ourselves and gentler with our goals in a season where maybe our energy is not what it should be or could be. And if that sounds good to you and like a soft place to land, then I'd love to have you follow along. So I've already tried filming this video a few times and I didn't know how much I had to say about my weight loss journey, but apparently I have a lot to say. So I am going to try this final time to not make it a 45-minute video, but we shall see. Basically, I came home from a failed run saying I want to share my weight loss journey because A, it's something I've never shared with anyone despite being on this journey since 2013. Here comes the sun again. Despite being on this journey since 2013, I have never had external accountability of this type. I have an Instagram, my fitness Instagram, a separate one, where I posted accountability selfies and I've always kind of kept up on there. But it's not something that I've ever talked about to people. And now that I have this space on YouTube, I want to share because the external accountability can be so important to getting to our goals. But also, after today's run, I've realized that my mindset shift is huge. The place that I used to be, this all or nothing mentality, was so harmful to my weight loss journey, to me accomplishing any of my goals. And now that I'm in a place where I believe that consistency is key and that's what leads to lasting change, where I believe in progress over perfection, and where I think that we need to be kinder to ourselves in this journey and process of accomplishing any of our goals, I think it's worth sharing now. I'm kind of glad I never did it because I think I was coming at it from a place of hustle, from a mentality of 75 hard, where you have to stick to your goals in order to see change. And while I do believe that in the overall picture, that's not where I am today. So I'm calling this my anti-all or nothing weight loss journey because while I have been trying to lose weight, be healthier, maintain a fitness level with my strength training, I have never been consistent. And yes, there's a lot of factors that go into that, which I'm going to get into. But first off, I want to say that I am not here to shame myself for any of that. This is not a place of shame because I believe that Kay was doing the best that she had with what she had in front of her. And at the time, I had a certain why that was very much what is the number on the scale and how do I look physically? And that's no longer my why. My why has expanded, and that is so important. And just a quick note, if you don't know what that means when I say that, if you're not often in this fitness industry or in a goal setting world, our why is the reason behind why we're doing the thing we're doing. So it used to be, I want to lose weight because I want to look better. And that is all fine and good for 18-year-old, 20-year-old, 21-year-old Kay. But now, 34-year-old Kay has a very different mindset about it. My why is that I want to be able to run after my kids. I want to be able to go for a run while they're all riding their bikes so I can keep up with them. I want to be the 85-year-old grandma who is still hanging out with her grandchildren, chasing them around the beach. I want to be healthy enough for my children. I have other health issues that we can go into a little bit later in the video. And my why is that the more I work out, the more in shape I am, the better my organs function and the better I feel. And it helps my depression and anxiety in a natural way, so I don't need to be on any medication at the moment. All of these things combined are my why now, and part of why I think I can be consistent this time and I can hit my goals better. So I watch a lot of transformation videos for weight loss. It's just always something that's come up in my YouTube algorithm. It's something that I enjoy watching. I think it's amazing when someone can hit their goals. And for me, this isn't going to be a typical transformation journey. I am going to document it because I want to document the in-betweens. I want to document the process. I want to share the highs and the lows in a way that maybe inspire you to be a little softer on yourself when you're entering your weight loss journey. And if you are, feel free to comment down below. I'd love to cheer you on. But for me, this is a starting over point. It's a restart again because I've done this so many times and I have hit my goals in the past. But the problem is I've hit my goals and then something has happened and that has thrown me off the wagon. So this is the part I keep getting long-winded in. Briefly, I want to share a little bit of my all or nothing kind of history. I went to Europe in 2013 with my sister for 7 weeks and came home at the heaviest I have ever been. We thoroughly enjoyed our pasta, pizza, cheese, desserts, everything that Europe had to offer us. Even though we were probably hitting like 15,000 steps a day because we were backpacking and walking everywhere, we still managed to put on weight, and I put on more than I expected. I came home and none of my clothes at home fit. I had been wearing really flowy, soft maxi dresses, things that were easy to roll up and pack in a suitcase and air dry. So when I came home and put on a pair of jeans that didn't fit, I was confused. I was upset and I was highly motivated. From that moment on in 2013, I have gone through accountability buddies who checked in with me about going to the gym. I started and completed my first ever Couch to 5K, which proved to me that I could do this thing. I could be someone who works out because I never had that identity before. I was the book nerd. I was the one who loved school. I wasn't the one who was into sports or doing anything fitness related. So doing that was a huge starting point for me. And then I hired a personal trainer, went to her gym, and that is my favorite part of my journey because she taught me great form. I had previously tried P90X, which ended me in rehab for my knees in PT because it was just too hard on my knees, and I learned very quickly that my body does not like that. So then I went to my personal trainer. She taught me proper form. She pushed me, she made my workouts for me, she told me when to up my weights when I thought I couldn't, and that was amazing. I would still be going to her gym today if we had not moved farther away from it, and the commute now is just too hard, especially with 2 toddlers. And then from there, I went into marrying my husband at the fittest I had ever been, and we just entered this new season of going to the gym, working out together. Him and I were going while we were dating. It was part of our identity. It was part of what we did together as a couple. We enjoyed it. But then I got sick for like a year and we didn't know what it was. It turns out it was an egg allergy, and I was eating eggs every morning and getting sick by 11 a.m. And at that point, it was really hard for me to do anything. I spent most of my days in bed. I had some other things happening, and it turns out, which we didn't find out till later, this is when my Hashimoto started. So I was also probably dealing with thyroid issues, but apparently Hashimoto's can trigger a gene that makes you allergic to eggs. I had no idea. I ate them every day for 28 years and then developed an allergy, and it was very sad. It is still very sad. But I was sick for about a year before we figured that out. And then I had to do all the IVF testing because we found out we'd have to go through IVF. And I had a renewed sense of I need to change. And now is when my why expanded a little bit more. I went from purely looking at the scale and looking at how my clothes fit and how I looked and felt in the mirror to enjoying strength training and finding that I really loved deadlifting and front squats, to now I wanted my body to be healthy and fit to hold a pregnancy because I was having trouble conceiving. And so we were going through IVF, and I wanted to enter IVF knowing that I had done everything to make my chances of it being successful like as high as possible. And it worked. I went into IVF after doing a 6-week program, Tighter Together by Madeline Moves, which is very intense, macro tracking plus weight training, hour-long workouts, 5 days a week. It's the first time I did macros with weight training to that extent. And you could see it in my before and after photos in those 6 weeks. I dropped fat, gained muscle, everything was amazing. I felt so good, I had so much energy. And then I got pregnant. IVF worked, which is amazing. It was a miracle. First round, it worked. And then I was put on bed rest for bleeding, and this was the first real change in the last 4 years that's been very detrimental to my fitness habit. Me being sick for that whole year was, but I still found myself trying to do workouts and go to the gym through that. But being put on bed rest is a different beast. And then I ended up with back pain and back problems for the rest of my pregnancy, which really took working out of the picture because even vacuuming hurt my back. And I was having enough trouble just getting to my photo shoots and shooting weddings and carrying all my heavy gear while pregnant with this pain. And then I had my baby and entered postpartum depression. And nobody told me. And I don't want to bash anyone who took care of me in that time, but my midwives and doctors did not diagnose it as postpartum depression. I was told when I first brought it up that I just needed to sleep more. And I went 6 months before my friend, whose husband is actually a psychiatric nurse, he gave me the postpartum depression questionnaire. I worked through it with him, and I was diagnosed with severe postpartum depression and anxiety. And everything made sense. Suddenly I understood why I didn't want to get out of bed in the morning, why I spent every day crying, all the things. And I wasn't working out, I wasn't moving. It was enough to get up and care for this baby that I had birthed. So I got on Zoloft. And that was great. And I started to come out of it, and I started to feel a little bit more myself right around when she turned 9 months old, which is right around when we found out that we were pregnant with number 2. And back-to-back pregnancies are rough on the body, and as I was getting back into it, I suddenly was getting pregnant, and my medical anxiety was telling me, you're going to start bleeding again, all the things, so, back off, be very gentle with this pregnancy. It was fine, I didn't have the back pain, but by the time I had him, I then had 2 toddlers, or 2 under 2, an 18-month-old, and a newborn, and that's just a lot. So again, as I mentioned in the beginning, I don't shame myself for any of this. I was doing the best with what I had in the moment, and the best I could do then was survive, to get through that. I slept 4 hours a night for 3 years because both my children didn't sleep through the night until they each turned 2. And even now, we still have nights where my toddlers are both up. And the other night I was up from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. because the 2 of them kept waking up. So it was a lot, and I couldn't find the will to do anything more than every once in a while I'd do a HIIT workout, I'd do a dance cardio workout on YouTube, I'd go for a walk with them in the stroller carrying one, and that was fine, but I wasn't being consistent. So that is my history in my health and fitness journey. I have been here before. I have hit goals before, but every time I've done the extreme, I've hit a goal and then I've burned out, or I've quit. Because as I mentioned in my last video, I started the Couch to 5K running last year, and then my house was flooded and I was displaced for 8 weeks. I had been working out for 4 months prior to running for 6 weeks. I was being consistent. I knew that consistency was key, and we were just doing, the best and pushing through and making the most of every week. And then the flood happened, and I was out of my home, out of my space. I didn't even have my running shoes. I didn't have anything with me because we fled our house and then it flooded. And there was repairs and a lot of work going on, and I was just trying to deal with the children in an apartment who I've never lived with downstairs neighbors before. And it was a lot. And by the time we came home, we went right into Christmas and all the things, and I think I took that all or nothing mentality for the last time of just, I did 6 weeks of running of an 8-week program. I probably could have picked it up and just started running again. But I felt like I failed, and I never did until this year. And now the fact that I failed this run, and the first thing I thought of was, I'm just gonna move it to Monday night. That's just so huge. That is a big turning point for me. It's why I'm recording this video now, because now you can see a little bit of how much I've gone through, how many times I've tried and failed and ended what I'm doing, to now be at this point where I'm not mad that I failed that run. I'm just thinking of why. What are the reasonings behind me failing the run? Such as, I did a hard workout yesterday and woke up really sore this morning and probably did not stretch enough. And also thinking of it not as, this is an 8-week program and now like I failed it, but instead, okay, what if it turns into a 12-week program? That's fine. We're just going to repeat the run and try again. And we'll repeat it as many times as we need to until we get it done. And I think part of my being an accountability coach and preaching this consistency is key to other people is something I never truly applied to fitness until now. And this again is where I'm getting long-winded. So I have notes to try to keep me on track. But anyways, I was in a place where nothing was sustainable. I wasn't treating macro tracking as sustainable because I was being too strict with it. I was quitting a program after 6 weeks of sticking to it because the last 2 weeks got derailed instead of just picking it back up again. I wasn't doing any workouts because I felt like if I didn't have time for a 45-minute workout, then what's even the point? And now a final rundown of like what I'm going through before I get into the nitty-gritty of what I'm going to be doing on my weight loss journey, my all or nothing transformation, is I am dealing with Hashimoto's, with PCOS, with anxiety and depression, food allergies, and food aversions. And all of these things, it's a lot, but it's not the end, and I don't want them to be excuses. I want to have a plan that's working with me and not against me. I want to think of these as barometers for my day. If these things are impacting me, how much are they impacting me? How much does it change the output of my day, instead of, this is an excuse for why I can stop what I'm doing and just give up. I also have 2 toddlers. They are 2 and 4, well, 2.5 and 4. I also don't, like I mentioned, don't get great sleep every night. I'm also running 2 businesses. So there's a lot going on. We are still, my husband's been working on the shed, rebuilding that after the floods. Like, we're still working on all this other stuff. And I think in the past I would have let that derail me. And instead now I'm thinking, what can I do to move forward despite these things? And I have to mention a quick shout out to the fact that I am not doing this alone. I do have a team of support around me. I have a therapist who can help me with the depression and anxiety give me tools to work through the days that I feel like I am just crawling through mud to get through the end of the day. I have my personal trainer who is making me a home program, or made me a home program, that gives me the option to take it lighter some days and heavier other days. I also was just working with an autoimmune specialist because my thyroid was acting up, and making sure that my systems are running well in the back end with the correct supplements and medication for the Hashimoto's, so that I don't have the chronic fatigue, but also so that I understand if my thyroid's acting up, that I might have chronic fatigue for the moment. I might be feeling worse off. I might have joint inflammation. I might have my body holding on to that inflammation, which makes it harder to run. And I want to understand all those symptoms in the background so that I can treat myself with more softness and grace when it comes to failing a run or a workout. And I'm working on and off again with the dietitian just to get a better idea of how I can fit my macros based on my food allergies and aversions, which do make it really hard sometimes. So now that we're like 20 minutes into this might be what you're here for. What am I doing, and how am I doing this moving forward? What does this look like for me? So my plan on a typical week, a typical good week, is 2 workout days. I have a 3rd bonus day if I'm feeling really powered up, and then 2 run days. So I work out on Tuesdays and Thursdays, with an optional Friday. But my trainer and I worked very hard back and forth on understanding my energy levels and how I may be feeling throughout any given week. And so we loaded Thursday and Tuesday as the meat and potato days, with Friday being a bonus workout where it would be nice to have it, but if I don't have that time to fit into my busy schedule, then I don't have to do it. But she also gave me options within my workouts for if you're having a terrible day, like do these 2 sets and only do this many of them, instead of like, here's your workout and you have to stick to it every Tuesday, Thursday. I have the option of, this is a terribly hard day. How can I pull back? If I only have the energy to do a 15-minute workout, what do I do? And that's been amazing already. I have started that. It feels so good. I love having that option. And more times than not, once I get started, even if I'm like, today is a low energy day and I only want to do the scaled back version, I start the workout and end up doing the whole thing because I've already started it, which is a huge part of showing up. Is just like getting to the gym is the hardest part. And then my runs are Wednesdays and Saturdays, with Monday being my if you fail a run, you can repeat it day. And I have since realized that obviously I run better in the evening. So now I'm going to do Wednesday nights, which I was doing because my husband would come home from work, and then I would go out for my run, and I think my limbs are just like really limber after working around the house all day and playing with the kids and running and maybe taking a walk with them or going to the playground, and I feel a lot more stretched out, and I've been having better evening runs. The 2 runs that I have failed have been midday on a Saturday, so I have to try doing a Saturday evening run instead, I think. And if I continue to fail a Saturday, maybe I just push it to Friday. And I have Monday, Wednesday, Friday run days. Maybe. I'm playing with these ideas. Which again is what I'm talking about here. It's instead of just saying, well, the schedule put it a Saturday, like the app put it on Saturday, so I have to do it every Saturday. How can we make that fit, my schedule and how I'm feeling? So that's my current workout week. I have macros that I am tracking and trying to hit every day, because actually working with the dietitian found out that I was eating far too little calories and kind of putting my body in starvation. And this was not at all because of weight loss. This was not because I was trying to starve myself. I have a bad habit of, not even habit, I don't know, it's just something inside me. I don't get hungry enough often, and with the foods that I eat and the aversions and the allergies, I can often find myself like not feeling like I have anything to eat and I get full very quickly. So I've always known this, but now I've made it intentional that I eat like 5 small meals a day, and I track the macros to actually make sure that I'm hitting enough calories and protein for the day. I only eat chicken. It's like the only meat I eat. I'm now allergic to eggs because of the Hashimoto's, so I have limited protein options, which means I do actually have to track that if I'm going to find any muscle gain or anything. We can go further into macro tracking in another video if you would like, but for me, just tracking kind of loosely. I don't weigh everything. Some of it I do eyeball, which I do have, like 10 years of experience on and off again macro tracking, but I try to get as close as possible so that I have an idea of what I'm eating every day. But now that's my typical plan, my typical week. Let's talk about how I'm making it softer for me. For example, if I fail a run, I'm just gonna do it 2 days later. I'll give myself that rest day still because I went out and I tried it and I failed it, and then I'm gonna do it Monday and I will try it again. I will push all the other runs down and just repeat it as many times as I need. If I don't feel like it's time to move on to the next one, I'm just going to repeat a run, and that's going to be okay. I have plan A, B, and C for workouts. I talk about this a lot with my clients. Plan A is your perfect day plan for like a workout, and then you have this playlist, and plan B will be what my trainer and I work together on having a lighter workout day. Plan C is I can't do anything, what can I do? I will stretch, I will do yoga, we will have a 5-minute dance party, I will dance while I'm vacuuming, I will get movement in anyways, and I will not get upset about it because I will have chosen this intentionally. I didn't skip a workout because I didn't want to do it, and I didn't fail a week of workouts because I skipped a bunch of workouts. I still kept movement in my schedule, even if it wasn't a workout, and that counts. I'm promising myself I will remember it counts. And I have already implemented this and it's been going well if I can prioritize just that step count with, dance breaks, throwing the kids in the wagon and going for a walk and pulling them, taking the hills instead of doing all the flat paved areas, anything like that as my plan C for when I just don't feel like I can go lift up weights. Or if my son doesn't nap and it's not safe to have him downstairs with the really heavy weights or on my spin bike, then maybe I can't do a workout. Or if we have a full day where we go to my in-laws and I can't do a workout, what can I do there? So I want to allow my win to be that I showed up. I am on a weight loss journey, and the goal is to be healthy and to find sustainable habits that will keep me healthy for my whole life, that will keep me working out for my whole life. I can't track macros 100% and then never eat, I can't even eat a donut, never eat a vegan ice cream because it doesn't fit my macros, because that's not sustainable. So if my husband goes out and gets ice cream, like maybe I have a scoop of it, and that's going to be okay because I'm showing up for my movement and I am matching my macros most of the time. And I would rather have a few little days of doing worse to get to a goal of always being good, not I have to be great and lose 20 pounds in 2 months. Like, that's not my goal here. I have a background on my phone that I made that says she is forged in the 5-minute windows, and that is kind of my new mantra, because if I can take these 5-minute windows to have that dance break or do a quick lap around the house, just to run for a little bit, to do stretching or yoga for 5 minutes, then I am moving towards my goal in little steps, and I don't need hour-long gym sessions because I can't have them right now. And maybe in the future that's something that I will be able to do again when my children are grown up a little bit more. But at the moment it's not something I can do, and that's okay. I officially think I have the mindset shift that I don't start over anymore. I just keep going. Okay, today didn't work out great. Today wasn't to plan. What's tomorrow look like? What can I make tomorrow? Can I make it better? Can I make it one step better than today was? I'm not starting over. I'm not failing. I am just moving forward. But now I want to talk to you quickly. If you have ever quit because life has gotten in your way, you're not alone. I want to do this transformation journey with you because there is a softer way to do this, and it still works. I have already started implementing these changes in my life, and small, doable steps are so much more important than loud, bold, like, let me post this all over social media because I did 75 hard. That's great, but after 75 hard, what are you doing next? Do you have a plan? We're here to have a plan from the very beginning, and we don't need to push ourselves to the max to get somewhere great. And I want to prove that to you and to myself that this way of doing things is a sustainable, gentler way. It may take longer, and I'm okay with that. I'm hoping to do check-ins with you guys, maybe not monthly, but every so often. And those will come with a bit more of the, progress photos, weight on the scale, what I've been eating, what's working, what's not working, how many runs did I fail this week, and bringing that to you in a video of hope and encouragement, and helping you see that this is the long game, and I'm here for the long game. And I hope as you're cheering me on that I can be cheering you on. So if you, again, are on your own journey, feel free to post in the comments below, and I would love to cheer you on too. So thanks so much for joining me today. This time I am not chasing a deadline. I am not chasing a number on the scale. I'm chasing strength, steadiness, and help, and I'm bringing you with me. So I hope you stick along for the journey. Bye.